You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Did it? You hit it? We're on. It's live on the air.
We're running, boys. We're running.
Welcome to the Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 123 of East Central Indiana's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today, joined by co-host Dakota Davis, producer Chris Guffey.
Hello.
Today's episode features, well, the three of us sitting around and having a wonderful discussion about a couple of different things that are going on in our lives. We are going to be talking about the recent article in the Courier Times and some comments that were made in there about the historic Castle Theater in downtown Newcastle. And we are also going to be talking about maybe a name change for Henry County's Memorial Park. I don't know. We'll get into that. And then also Chris Guffey, he's got a ride along with the police department tomorrow. So we're going to try to make some predictions about what's going to happen, what's going to happen on that. So make sure you stick around to the end to hear that.
We want to tell you that this show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we will provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. Hopefully, you'll always learn something new. There's going to be some breaking news tonight. This is an exciting day.
Sure.
We're going to get into it. We had some breaking news on the Patreon side too. You guys need, first of all, there's two big stories in there. Mm-hmm. One, I nearly lost my life over the weekend. If you want to know how and why and what happened, bosshogliberty.com. Find our Patreon feed or patreon.com/bosshogofliberty. Join at any level and you'll hear that story. The video's up now and you can you get it delivered right to your email as soon as we get posted tonight.
That's right. The people on the Patreon are who pay the bills for the studio, help keep the lights on and all the technology running around this place. And also if we have equipment upgrades that need to happen, well, we just have to pinch our pennies for a minute and convince Mike Burrows to give us an extension on the rent, and then we can make our equipment upgrades. If you want to help us, if you want to help us not have to ask Mike for an extension on the rent, then you can hop on over to patreon.com/bosshogofliberty and join as well.
None of that's true. We've never been hit on our rent. We've always been okay. We've kept with the lights are on and it's been okay, and the Patreon folks have been great. But
keep the drama alive.
But as they say, winter is coming and it does take some money. So
yeah,
that is a real concern.
If you join at $50 or more a month, then we promise to give a shout out on each and every episode to make sure that the world knows just how great you are. Those folks are Christopher Bilbrey, Christy Avery, Craig DaCosta, and of course, Jonathan Phillips. Thank you to all those folks.
Appreciate every one of them very, very much. So the big news tonight, the big thing we're getting into, first of all, we'll note it here, but you can listen to the Patreon for the full story. You had some news over this week. Last week, Mason accidentally broke it.
Mason accidentally broke the news last week.
He didn't know. It wasn't his fault. It was not intentional. He actually had the story right.
If you go,
a broken clock is twice a day.
If you go and listen to episode number 122, then somewhere towards the end of the episode, I say that I have big news, and the big news was about the Shell building being purchased by Boar's Head. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to make like it seem dramatic.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so I was
holding
off.
Mason learning the lesson of yes and that we've been teaching him in his internship.
He said, "You're going to be a dad." And he had no idea. But he was right.
But you actually are going to be a dad.
True.
You are.
In February.
I feel like you're going to have to name the baby Boss.
That'd be a good nickname.
You're going to have Boss Baby.
Both of you guys already knew. So whenever Mason said that,
when Mason said that, we tried to hold it together. And
all of us shared a look.
The looks were exchanged, and we just drove right on by it.
My look was more of, which one of you told him?
I didn't do it. I was like, he had no idea.
Nope.
I kept that secret as instructed. I am a lockbox. I didn't do it. Wasn't me. If Guffey let it slip, that's
Wasn't me.
You just can't trust Guffey. He's a dirty politician now.
No.
Could have been Chase. We don't know. Chase is too busy to tell anybody anything.
And I don't think Chase knows Mason.
He doesn't?
I don't think so.
I don't think they've met.
They're like
I don't
ships,
think you're
ships
right.
passing in the sea.
Wow.
And we're
They
gonna
could.
get Chase back, and Mason's going back to college. They will never meet each other.
They could be
That's
the same
true.
person. Technically, they've never been in the same room.
Guffey. I don't know if you've noticed, but Chase is much, much taller than Mason.
Stilts.
They both are baseball players. And that's true. They both
Stilts. We
played
don't
baseball
know.
at a very high level. They're the
He could
two
be the
most
master of
athletic people
disguise.
we've ever had in the history of the show.
Yep.
So our media partner, as we've been instructed to call them by their editor,
Yep.
we're not just inventing that. Our media partner,
Because we are one of the only sources of media.
we
besides
are.
the Courier
There's
Times and the
basically
Middletown News.
3 major news outlets in the county.
Real quick, before we get into that,
You don't want it to go?
Okay.
just before we get into that, I want to make a comment about the media partner. We always give credit to the Courier Times. We constantly talk about the Courier Times.
Uh-oh.
There's never anything in said newspaper about the boss Hog of Liberty. So if he wants us to keep calling
we were a
media partners.
We were a front page story there one time.
Yeah, because we actually put the work in to make the news. We had to work for that. He's just being an editor of a newspaper.
Making money. Big money news.
He's just doing his job, and we have to call him a media partner.
We have day jobs here.
This has been the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals.
Worst deal ever.
Okay.
So our media partner at the Courier Times has a big story. Daryl Radford has it out today. Massive mold problem invades the Castle Theater, which has been a rumor here in the last few months that the city is potentially trying to acquire the Castle Theater in downtown Newcastle, about 2 blocks away from our studio.
Yep.
It's in a trust. The facility is in some sort of a Bundy trust, which is tied to Eli Lilly. It's very convoluted. Multiple generations ago, the theater was put into a trust,
Yeah.
which is now managed by a bank. And there's really
JP Morgan,
there's
yeah.
not really a name and a face associated with any of this. So the movie theater has been leased and operated by an independent operator for about the last 10 years. And those folks, according to the story today in the paper, there's been an independent operator who's had it for about 10 years. And they were responsible for all of the maintenance. And they said, this is the worst trade deal ever. And they got out of the business, basically. They said, we're out. So it's been empty. The theater's been closed for a little while. Over the winter, there was since they left,
Yep.
the owners didn't go in and say, hey, we need to turn the power on. Nobody turned the water off because the renters, their lease was up. They left.
Yep.
The owners never went back in.
Electric left on.
Pipe blew,
water.
and then the thing flooded.
Yeah. It was,
So the city had to go in and basically
Yeah.
break into the building to turn the water off. And then it sat there for since winter. So the last 6, 7, 8 months.
And then it hit a 90
We've had
100 days.
we've had July temperatures.
Yep.
And now apparently somehow maybe
mold.
we don't know why the city went in.
The worst
Officially.
mold ever.
But as the story develops, we start to figure out why the city went in the building. But the city went in the building this week, the mayor and
Mike Burrows is saying it's not Eli Lilly, it's Riley's
Riley Children's Hospital.
Riley.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
All right.
Good catch, Mike.
Fair enough. We'll check his sourcing later.
We want that
I think
extension.
we've read a number of things.
You're wrong.
A philanthropic organization has the lease on this building. The city went in, the mayor went in, the health department went in, and they basically red tagged it and said this thing is
Building
overrun by
commissioner.
mold. The building commissioner came in, Commissioner Melton,
Yep.
and came in and they said this thing's uninhabitable right now. And
You can't go in there without a hazmat suit.
He put a giant sign on the doors that says "Do not enter, unsafe to occupy," which means that it is actually a misdemeanor to go into the building, right? Or take that sign down.
maybe it makes you a criminal.
They're going to arrest you.
know it's
So
wrong.
I'm going to go and take that sign down tomorrow whenever Chris is on his ride along.
That'll be perfect.
Guffey is so desperately hoping for something exciting to happen.
Trying to
tomorrow.
help you out, buddy.
All I'm saying is we'll talk about it later.
All right.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
All right. So this story comes along, and all of a sudden, as you read the story this morning, it says that the city,
Along with
along with Newcastle Main Street, has put an offer in on the building, and it's been talked about a little bit. But to me, I'm like, well, I didn't realize we were at that point, and I didn't either. And I've reached out to a number of city councilmen that are city council persons.
Yep.
And it kind of surprised them all. They didn't know that this was happening.
Yeah, actually, one that I reached out to, I was like, hey, city put an offer in on the Castle Theater. He goes, where'd you hear that rumor at?
It's in the paper.
Front page of the Courier Times.
Our media partner.
The Courier Times. But yeah.
So we see that out there, and then it says that Newcastle Main Street is tied to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the building hasn't been advertised for sale. We haven't seen that it's officially for sale. We know that people potentially were trying, but it's not out there as a listing, right? It's like available for lease.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Is there a sign in the window saying that you can buy the thing? Is there an advertised price?
Not that I've seen.
So we've heard rumor.
It's not on Zillow.
We've heard rumor that the building is out there for sale, and now it sounds like from our sourcing today that there are multiple offers on a building that wasn't for sale, and the city perhaps is not the high bidder, and the owner is saying no, we're not gonna take any of these bids.
Yeah,
maybe they're gonna try to go full retail.
Yeah,
so that's an interesting development. So the conversations that we have to have.
Do you know? Chris, I'm asking you this. Do you know how much the offer was that was put in on the Castle Theater?
I do not know the offer.
You haven't seen the documents?
I have not seen the documents.
If you don't know, if you do know, don't tell us. If you don't know, then that's great.
No, I don't know.
But I want to take this time to let's go around the room and
do a guesstimate?
No, we're not. Oh. We're not going to do a guesstimate. We're going to say if you were putting an offer in on the Castle Theater, how much would you offer?
Oh. Look, Mike Rose is always fact checking.
He says that it's listed for lease. It's not available for purchase right now, but it's available for lease if you want to.
What about we'll start with Jeremiah, because I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
So there's a lot to consider there. You got utilities, cost, who you're going to put in it, how are you actually going to make money off of the thing.
Well, and hold on.
If I'm a city wanting to do this, I might consider taking it off of the private group's hands for $1, maybe. But then you got to figure out how you're operating it, how you're paying insurance, what you're actually going to do with it. The building needs repairs. It's like buying a horse. The cheapest part of it is buying the horse. It's actually feeding it and maintaining it and keeping it alive and doing something with it. That's the problem. Getting the building is the cheap part.
Now, my question is does that include the parking lot in the back and the building next to it?
I would expect it's the whole parcel.
Yeah, it's the whole parcel.
Whole thing?
You could build quite the tiny house in that parking lot.
Sure could.
You could really fulfill your dreams.
I'd put it in the ditch where
you just have a pretty crappy yard. You wouldn't really be able to get a dog unless you just like turn the castle into your yard.
So I think as the city, I would kind of do like they did with the bank property, the Mariana Bank property. Mm-hmm. And if they want to give it to you, then okay, maybe you have that conversation.
Yeah, I'm not.
But still, it needs to be a conversation. It can't just be. It really shouldn't be the mayor making a deal, cutting a deal, and doing it. That does not seem like the right gig to me.
So you say that you'd take it
for $1.
For $1,
I might do it for $1. Literally, that's not an uncommon thing.
But that's I'm not as the city.
As a city,
yeah.
If you're a private individual,
is that what we're talking about?
No,
my
question was private individual.
Private individual, maybe. You don't know how bad it is, right? Without having an inspection and knowing what's going on and having a chance to look through it. If it's mold riddled and it's got plumbing issues and God only knows what happened to the utilities inside, the thing may only be worth 30 or 40 grand. You got the building next to it, but the theater itself, if you're actually looking at what it's truly worth in the free market, it might be the lot minus the teardown.
All right, stop running around. Give me a final number.
What's your final number?
40 grand.
What about you, Dakota?
I was going to say 33.
Man, I don't really know. I've been looking at houses, but I don't know the right way to estimate.
That said,
I guess the shop next door.
I'll split you. I'm going 37.
The single family home market is going crazy right now.
Yeah, as a private, I'd go.
If you're buying it for the lot and you're going to tear it down, you're going to build apartments there or something. Maybe it's got more value. Yeah. But if you're going to try to use it as a theater, you've got more competition coming in town.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that's going to
fly. It's already failed to hold its own in a market without a competing theater here.
So that side's difficult, Yeah. Are we doing the dream of we're going to open up a brewery and we're going to have people in there, we're going to have shows, and that's what we're going to do? Maybe that's got a future.
Yeah.
Maybe something fun and trendy's there.
Right.
And if you get
brewery
it for a song.
next door and theater, and if you can find a way to do it, find a way to save the castle, put a
that
brewery
works
in the building next to it, and then
some sort of a unique business model might work.
Yeah.
But I don't
like level half of the floor, but just kind of keep a lot of the original seating. You just have to expand that front lobby and make it like restaurant sitting space, and you can just go into the back and you'd play like older movies and stuff. You could probably hit a pretty cool market with that.
You do like
business
Bakersfield
model.
does in Indianapolis, where they play old westerns, right? You have like a
right.
California, Mexican,
I
Santa
bet-
Fe type feel.
I bet something like that would really take off around here.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Hit
But-
me up,
but
Sean.
he- but
Rao. We're
here's
gonna
the
brew
thing.
some beer.
Here's
the
the
question
thing.
is-
Maybe Sean's the other offer. That's the other thing, is we've heard there's multiple offers, and the city was not high.
That's true.
The city wasn't the highest offer. Here's the thing. Here's my issue, and the part where I'm not. We're all learning about this. This is the first time we've watched our city try to buy a theater. Rushville did it a couple years ago with the Princess Theater, and as a part of their stellar grant, they acquired the theater and they moved City Hall there, so it's got multiple purposes. This one, there's not really the space. The Princess Theater is multiple levels. It makes I think it works out a little better. So I pulled a copy of the ordinance that was passed and adopted by the city council.
In Newcastle,
In
not
Newcastle.
Rushville.
Newcastle.
Is this
And
the
this
one about the
is-
land bank?
This is from December of 2018, and this is the city budget.
Oh,
There's a city budget that every city adopts. Newcastle's is about $26 million. $3 million for water, $1 million for trash, $13 million in general whatever, which I think is where most of the employee costs come from, I believe. About $5.3 million in sewer. And then a bunch of things under $1 million: transportation, aviation, pensions. There's about $1.2 million the city pays a year in fire and police pensions. $26 million budget. I don't know where in that comes a line item to start operating a theater.
well, what I'm thinking is it's probably from like just the general.
So the $13 million general fund that pays all the. I mean, that's your police salaries, that's your fire salaries. As best I can read the budget from a one-page summary, I think that's where all of the head count comes from.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've got that much sitting there available, or is this are you making a cash offer, or are you signing up and saying,
For a
hey, we're
long-term
gonna
debt,
sign 20 or 30 year note and
Well,
we're gonna operate this thing.
I was informed that if the mayor can pay cash for it out of his budget, then he doesn't need the city council's approval.
He did. But if
if
they
he-
were going to go into debt,
If they were going to go into any kind of payment plan, the city council has to approve it. So him shooting off like this, making an offer,
a city council
makes me think that he's going to pay
approves
cash.
the budget ordinance every year.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor can ask for an increase, but the council approves a budget. So without the council saying yes, that's your check and balance. Of course, the mayor's not facing re-election this year, but half the council, almost half the council is facing re-election. So they've got
3
this
out of the 7,
conversation
yep.
to have. And this is the time for the city to have this discussion. I'm not sure, as a guy that lives 5 doors from city limits, but gets sucked in because of the city utilities, into the conversation against my will. I've got a giant mound in my yard right now, thanks to the city project that's going on. And
Your house was in the paper as well.
it was on the cover of the paper after my little talk on episode 122. I made the cover of the paper, so that was kind of fun.
and we
Our
didn't
media
get
partners.
listed as a media partner.
No, it was just a house on Jeffrey Street.
Mm-hmm.
Noted. Weird how that works, Mr. Week, whatever. So there's a budget that's passed every year or so. City of Fort Wayne, their website actually does a really good job of explaining how all this works out. But basically every year the council approves a budget. So it's not to say, and they can cut it. They have the opportunity to say no. So if a council doesn't agree with something a mayor is doing, not just this mayor, but any mayor, you can go in and you make changes. You've got that authority. I'm not convinced that the council knows that or has done that in the time it's been there. The current membership's been there, but it's kind of like Congress, where Congress hasn't declared war. They just kind of go along with the executive branch.
Mm-hmm.
Congress has a whole lot more power than they use, but they just forget about it and they let the executives run and do what they want to.
Could be one of those
I
things.
kind of
where-
think that might be what happened with the city council here.
Yeah, could be with some of the newer council members. They're like, the older council members like, well, this is how it's always just been done. So now they just,
is that
and
what-
nobody wants to rock the boat.
Is that what this little explanation is on the City of Fort Wayne's website with budgets over $100,000 will be explained? Is that what that means? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, that's a variance, but it also you also can see the process. I'm not sure if it's in this on this page that we've got pulled up here right now or not. But there's an annual review, and a budget has to be approved by the council. It's an ordinance.
That's true, but I mean, how do you know? And me playing devil's advocate, how do you know that the mayor or the general fund's not going to need this amount of money? And you know what I mean? It's one of those things like, well, we have the money. Where should it go? And we have to figure these out. I mean, I can think of other places. We can put them into the police department because the police department want to buy some trunk blockers that they can like block the streets off and keep them in the trunk automatically. And that's on the Stellar grant.
There's endless amounts of ways to spend your money, right?
Yeah, there is. Or maybe we don't need to be collecting that much money. Find a way to lower it.
I just think this is being short circuited. I feel like it's happened very quickly, to my view, and I don't know that the city has the people of the city have decided we want to be in the theater owning or theater operating business. If Newcastle Main Street goes out and buys this thing and operates it as a 501c3 independently, great. But is that what the city wants to do? Is that what
is the city wanting to operate?
Or have the conversation? You know, if the people of the city say, "Hey, you know what? We want to be in the business of saving downtown." We want to invest money. We want to add a TIF. We want to put all the buildings downtown in a TIF, and we want to save these historic buildings. We want them to be publicly owned. Okay, let's have that conversation though. Let's make this election about that. If that's what this is going to be. If you look at this parcel, this building that we're talking about, it had $10,000 in property taxes this year that went to the county and the city.
If the city owns that building, it's zero. That's gone.
It's zero.
Also,
so that building was $10,000 into the public fund that's now not there anymore. That's $10,000 that comes out of your school fund, that comes out of your police fund, that comes out of your fire fund, comes out of your park funds. That's not coming in because the city now owns it.
It will never come in as long as the city owns it.
And then on top of that, you're going to have to pay people to the maintenance. You're going to have to pay people to fix it. And so there's more money coming out of the budget for all these preemptive and...
I don't know that you want to come off as Debbie Downer and say we want to kill everything or don't want to do this, but it's a conversation that needs to be had because I don't think people realize that that's there. They just see it's an empty building.
Exactly. The questions need to be asked.
And I came up with another question about this whole thing.
Shoot.
Was the trust. And they're talking about, and Greg Gork says that he wants the city, or he wants to fix the Castle Theater, and he wants to save it. He said it's not going to go the way of all the other theaters that Newcastle had, all the other historic theaters.
Princeman, the Princess,
yeah, he listed them off. I can't remember them, but does this trust have insurance on the building? And if so,
the insurance
they can just fix it.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they'll do.
How is that the city's responsibility?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not the city's responsibility.
The trust,
right? But that's not.
The trust will have the insurance. The trust will fix it.
That's their business.
Yeah, and then
that's not on the mayor to solve that problem.
I'm saying it. Yeah, that's agreeing with you.
I think the mayor. People are potentially blaming the mayor for this happening, and I don't think that's the mayor's problem. The mayor's fault.
Yeah,
I
have
think
seen people say that it is Newcastle, the city's fault that it's fallen apart, but it's really not. Nothing is in our hands. Nothing. We own nothing of it. And if the owners want to left the water running and didn't pay the gas bill to let the heat come in and to heat the building and the pipes burst, that's not on us. We can't forcibly go in and maintain a building.
Apparently we can get in.
We can now.
Somehow.
Yeah, when water's coming back out into the street.
Yeah.
Somebody had a key because they got in there to take pictures.
That's true. They did. I wonder who had the key.
Maybe the guy that was posing for the pictures. I don't know.
We don't know. We'll never know.
No idea.
All right. Anything else on this topic before we move on to the next sticky one? This is a week of local craziness.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
No, I don't really have anything. I think that we should try to get a private business to buy it first. In the artitle, I believe...
Here's the thing is it's been short-circuited, Chris.
Yeah, it has.
Because it's not on the market. People haven't had a chance to look at the building, walk through it, tour it with a realtor, and dream a little bit and say, this is what I want to do.
That's what I'm saying. I said that's why we should back out of it, and we should not purchase it and give private industry a time to come in and actually see if they want to invest in the community. And that's what we should do. We should back out and not buy it. But
it sounds like they're not the high bidder anyway.
Well,
Potentially.
no.
All right, let's take other guesses in this segment.
Who do we think is the high bidder?
Yeah, who do we think
That
is
could
the
be
high
anybody.
I think that might be the new Shell building.
bidder? You think it's
They needed it. They sold the one to Boar's Head, so maybe it's going to be the new Shell building.
I'm going to go with the...
Oh, you're saying that the
Theater
RDC.
might be. Maybe it's the start of the new industrial park.
Mike's saying it has been on the market, but as far as we know it, Mike, is it for sale or is it just for lease?
It's got to be for sale. If there's been multiple offers put in,
Well,
unless they're just contacting the trust.
They could be contacting
Yeah.
the trust. I'm just going to go with a standard Newcastle answer here. And I'm going to say Randy Neal.
Is it Chrysler? Is Chrysler coming back to do small micro manufacturing?
I think that it was.
These are all guesses. Don't hold any of us accountable.
I think that it was Elm Street.
Ooh, Elm Street 2?
Yeah, because I heard
Elm
a rumor.
Street in Muncie.
Yeah, the brewery in Muncie.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a rumor that they had been driving through Newcastle and looking at possible locations for a satellite brewery.
Yes, Christy, I picked up your tickets.
So
But
that could be it too. That's what I'm hoping for. I hope
maybe
I hope
it's
some
time. Maybe
good-
it's time for you to go out and operate yourself a brewery.
Well, I'm really hoping that something like that comes along and makes a successful business out of that location.
I do too. Yeah. Well, and see, I have fond memories of the Castle Theater because that was my first adult job. Like my first job in high
That
school.
was your first
You're
job.
an insider.
I think it was
maybe
also
you had a key.
Probably most people our age and older is probably where their first
Travis?
date happened,
Travis worked there,
right?
so he worked there.
Is that
before.
where your first date was at? Was at the Castle Theater?
No,
in high
mine was
school?
probably at the skating rink.
I started dating young.
I'd say probably the skating rink. But yeah, no. Well,
God, I don't even remember where mine would have been. I have no memory.
I can recall going
So long ago.
going to the same movie 3 times in a week just to talk to the old manager up there, Keith.
What was your first movie you saw there? Do you remember?
I do not. I can tell you the one that I have the fondest memory of. I have 2. Hidalgo with Viggo Mortensen.
I'm pretty sure that my dad took me to see Hidalgo there.
Yep.
Hidalgo, not Hidalgo.
Hidalgo.
Mike Broyles
Whatever.
reporting it's listed on Crossroads for $165,000.
Ooh.
I'm gonna put an offer for 33.
Well, Mike should know because he buys buildings.
There we go. It is not showing up on the Crossroads real estate website. I have been scouring.
And then
it is not appearing.
The second movie that I recall the most was probably when I was working there, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I remember because you know how the ushers have to walk in at a certain point during the movie. I saw the same 3 to 5 minutes of the movie at least 20 times before I saw the movie.
What was
like-
it? What was happening?
It is when, so I don't know if you...
I have seen the film. I've seen it in the last year.
Okay, so in the Goblet of Fire, when the 2 schools are coming down, Dunstrom and I forget the other one, but Fleur Delacour was coming down, the visiting schools.
Mm-hmm.
So it was that scene, Fleur Delacour, and then Dunstrom with Victor Crumb, who's probably my favorite character in the entire series, is coming down, and they're like...
Yeah, they're beating their stabs.
And then they do the acrobatic, and then that guy just blows up like the little...
That is a
Fire.
pretty cool moment in a movie theater with their sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The first movie I saw there was The Big Green, the soccer movie.
Oh, yes.
I saw that there. You were probably very, very young.
I've seen it.
if born, but I saw that in the theater there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then the most recent movie, Chase Payton and I went and watched Star Wars there very recently. Probably one of the last showings that they had.
Okay.
Dum, 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 dum,
Dun,
dum,
dun,
dum,
dun.
dum,
I can't
dum,
tell you the
dum.
last movie I saw there. Dakota, what's your first movie?
Dude, I have no idea.
Okay, what's your fondest movie memory there?
I
Hidalgo?
don't know.
I also watched Up There, and then I was
Holding a girl's hand for the first time.
Oh, Audrey was so lucky. I remember watching Up There, and I was the only person that burst into laughter when the old man and the lady fell down the hill and died.
Oh,
and
you're so mean.
I was horrible. Yeah. But I thought it was like,
We thought you were heartless whenever we talked about Notre Dame.
yeah.
Now you're laughing at poor old ladies.
Listen, if that didn't
Yes.
happen, the whole premise of the movie wouldn't have happened. So don't
You
blame
are
me.
It was
a
sad.
horrible.
It was a linchpin
horrible
scene
man.
for the entire movie.
All right. As we are known for, smooth transitions.
Let's talk about some
We're
other.
hosting. You're producing.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
Oh, I'm so
Get
sorry.
with the program.
Hold on. Here, I'll go back into the Castle Theater real quick. Here we go.
You still have you have your key.
No. My best friend actually worked there as I believe he made it to assistant manager, and one of I don't know-
Assistant to the regional manager.
assistant to, and I don't know if you guys know this, but one of the coolest aspects when it was a Carasotes was you were allowed to take 2 free movie tickets,
What?
2 free movie tickets to any Carasotes.
So then you would go somewhere else and watch their movie.
Muncie's was a Carasotes,
Huh.
both of them before they became an AMC.
Here's my favorite Newcastle Castle Theater memory is whenever I was a kid. My friend's older brother worked there in the concession stands.
What was his name?
Ryan
Sidwell.
Yep.
Yep, I know him. He came in after me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So whenever I would go over to their house and like stay the night over there, Ryan would come in after a shift and he'd have a giant 50-gallon bag of popcorn.
Yep.
And we would just play video games on the old PlayStation 1.
You're the reason why the place went bankrupt.
And we pigged out on popcorn. All 3 of us. We just popped that baby open. It was awesome.
Oh,
yeah. Those were fun times.
See, look at that.
You're the problem. All right. Well, that's the theater update. We'll see if the city of Newcastle is going to be in the theater owning business or not.
Look up 909 Plum Street in Newcastle.
What is 909 Plum going
It's
to
a
be?
house he was
It's
telling me
a
about.
beautiful home.
Anyways,
This is we're broadcasting to thousands
Yeah, I
of
know.
people, right?
You just really need to
and
look this
you're just ready. It's already
And-
pending,
and
whatever it
it's-
is.
It's already pending. Never mind. I was trying to advertise for these people because the home is beautiful.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's a
folks.
beautiful. It looks like a nice Foursquare. Very nice home. Beautiful.
All right.
Lovely home. Doesn't need any of your flipping work.
Oh.
I'll tell you what. Here's the other reason why I couldn't pay I couldn't pay more than $30,000 because the damn thing costs $10,000 a year in taxes. Come
That's
on,
crazy.
that devalues it like none other.
If
That means you got to
I-
turn $1,000 a month profit in there to even start to break even. You got to generate $1,000 a month profit on the building
Well,
just to
you need
break
more than
even
that.
to pay
Just to pay the taxes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
that's not
just
breaking even.
Just to break even on the taxes alone before you put any utilities in, before you do anything else.
Yep.
That is
Take out loans to renovate the
that is a
building.
regressive tax on that facility. All right.
If I were to open a brewery or something in there, I would just leave it like it is with all the mold and everything.
Dollar beer night, everybody. You're going to have to sell a bunch of them.
You could do like the neon cactus and just get you a nice big old jug. And
Dakota's
they can come fill it up for cheap.
Dollar beer night. All right. So the other topic we wanted to get into real quick kind of blew up over the weekend. The local paper again had a story, and this has been a story that's been brewing for a little while. This Henry County Memorial Park has been the name for about 100 years. Next year is the 100-year anniversary of the park's existence.
That is correct. In June.
Oh, it's a memorial park, a war memorial park dedicated to the youth of Henry County, but also dedicated to the veterans of Henry County
Correct.
and their memory, those that we've lost. We've got a rich history here, going back to General Bundy, going back to many folks. We got the Doughboy. That's been covered ad nauseum on this program. So a individual named Larry Stockton came to the county park board and said, "Hey, I want to change the name of the park to a veteran, honoring the Henry County veterans."
And you know what? I've been going to the park board meetings for a while now, and I don't recall him ever being there.
Okay. So this Mr.
You calling
Stockton,
him a liar? You calling
No,
Daryl? You calling
it
Daryl
definitely
from the Courier
happened.
Times a liar?
It definitely happened.
I'm saying it probably happened,
the
but
park said, we'd rather not. We appreciate it. We'll consider it, but they're not going to take any action. So they didn't move on with
his
it.
proposed name was Veterans of Henry County Memorial Park.
And he got, there are 3, I guess they're VFWs, American Legions.
There's a
American
VFW, an American Legion, but I believe
I think it was the American Legion in Knightstown, Middletown, and Newcastle,
probably
all signed on and agreed with this thought or this proposal, thinking it would be a nice thing to rename the park.
Yep.
Approached the park board. Park board took no action. This is where the churn of being on the park board starts to drive you crazy as a former park board member, because the individual has then gone to the county commissioners who appoint the park board. And generally what happens is the park board has one power, that is the superintendent. They control the staff. That's the one thing the park board controls. Everything else really comes down to the park commissioners, the county commissioners. So Mr. Stockton, knowing that, went to the county commissioners and said, hey, I want to change the name of the park. And the county commissioners have now advertised that they're going to have a hearing about changing the name of the park to where they could actually change the name without the commissioners saying yes. So August 28th, they're going to have a hearing and they could potentially change the name of Henry County Memorial Park.
And
Eldon Pitts is in the chat and he says he proposed it about a year ago.
I just saw that. Yeah. Well, and you know what is crazy to me is, so I saw that on Facebook, obviously. It's just how it is sometimes. And one of the current park board members said, I wish you would have given us a heads up.
Member Williams,
Yes.
Jerry Williams.
I was like,
She said this on Facebook. It was a very public. There was a conversation that happened over the weekend in some sort of a local group. I don't remember which one it was, but she was going back and forth with Commissioner Kronk,
yeah,
the president of the park board,
just wish you would have given us
the president of the commissioner board.
Yeah, just wish you would have given us a heads up and let us know what was going on.
Yeah,
because we had already decided.
And I think that what they had talked about was, unfortunately, the park board took no action on it. They just kind of said no and went about their way. They didn't.
You don't necessarily have to take no as a vote. We learned that this last week after the after the wind thing. Not moving forward with something is an action. Unless you affirmatively say yes, we're changing it, then taking no action is a no. It's the same thing. You can't build, you can't change it, you can't do anything. Not taking action is an action. Even if they didn't explicitly tell you no, if you didn't get a yes, then the answer is no. That's the deal.
Well, she said that they never even took a vote.
But they didn't take action.
Right. They didn't take action. So would it have changed anything if they had made a decisive no decision?
This is one of the frustrations as a former park board member, is that you don't get a whole lot of guidance when you're on the board. They don't tell you, and it's a function of the way this operates. You've got a board of 3 that appoints one at a time. So you have a board of 5. And you have just it's just mass chaos. And then a council of 7 that funds you. So you've got 11 elected officials that are involved. Well, 10 elected officials there, plus potentially other government agents, department heads, other folks that get involved and help you out and get involved. But you've got potentially 10 bosses, 10 people that are involved in either setting your budget. You have 10 plus an auditor who's actually the county auditor is probably the most powerful person in the state, in the county. They actually control who gets money, who doesn't get money, and where money's at. So an auditor is very important in the budgeting process. So those 11 elected officials are there, and then you've got 5 park board members who are expected to do the work. They vote on something, but then it can get overridden or it can get changed, just like this. So if you don't attend 26 commissioner meetings a year, all of a sudden something happens and you weren't involved.
And you have no idea about it.
And you have no idea.
Until you read about it in the newspaper.
And by the way,
on Facebook.
Yep.
By the way, they're not live streamed. So it's a tough job and it's very frustrating. And that's why, one of the many reasons why you've had so much churn on the park board lately, where you've probably there's probably 8 people who have sat on the Memorial Park Board in the last 6 years.
Yeah.
Maybe more than that. There's probably been 8 openings on the park board in that amount of time. Since the show's existed, we've probably had 6.
Yeah.
6 of them at least. It's been unreal. So it's difficult. So now you've got this potential change, and I just think, my God, there's a lot of really positive things to happen in the park. I think we need to do some stuff that that gets you a consensus and moves you forward as being good and happy, and you're celebrating 100 years. Don't do something that's going to create another controversy.
On that note, there is something that's good that's going to happen.
Are you on the pork board?
No, I am on the Veterans Committee of the park. So we are trying.
Thank you for your service.
I hate you. We are going to put up a new monument for the War on Terror. I have my first meeting August 7th at 7:00. If any veterans want to attend, we are meeting by the Doughboy. So all are welcome. We want your input. If you've been on the War on Terror, we want your input. And
Where will it be cited? Where do you guys have an expectation as to where this would be?
We're looking. I think Sunday we're going to go, and we're going to, not Sunday, but the 7th. Sorry, we're going to go and drive around the park and try to discuss and see what we all think of who all shows up and see what.
There's
what
already a base, kind of like on the north side of the park. There's like the base of where a monument used to be.
I don't know that.
It's not very accessible.
It's not ADA compliant though.
That's true.
So,
Just spend the money to make it ADA compliant once the new one's there.
well, we're trying to get donations if you want to make one.
I'll tell you
make a
what.
donation to that.
In all seriousness,
Yeah.
there's once the Expo Center is built, that's under contract. The contract's been awarded to Fredericks. The dirt contract is already out to Case, and Fredericks is going to build the Expo Center. Buildings are going to come down, and there's going to need to be something where the current show barns are now.
Yeah, but
That's going to be potentially green space and be a great place to start locating monuments.
it would, but unfortunately, we don't know how long the Expo Center is going to take, and we're wanting to potentially have this in by next June. And we all know
For
how
the 100th.
For the 100th.
What if it's a temporary location? Then you move the monument later.
I don't know. I never thought about that. But how quick will the other buildings come down is the question. When we get the Expo Center
Moving
out.
monuments in that park is not very popular.
Well, I'm saying
Well,
if
it's
you
a new-
discuss it on the front end and you
Yeah.
say this is where it's going to be, but then long term we're going to have X, Y, and Z.
that is the correct route. If
I'll
that
bring
is
that up.
your plan.
That is a thought.
But you're going to have some green space there that's going to need a purpose, and maybe that would be maybe that's the start of it.
Yeah. Well, as long as there's no more wars.
It's the start of it. I mean, we've had presidents dropping bombs on countries, putting people in harm's way for generations.
Yeah.
I'm 36 years old, and we've been at war my entire adult life.
Not your entire adult life.
My entire adult life.
Oh, well. you consider-
2001, I graduated from high school.
Yep. Yep.
We've been in this.
No, well, then technically not your entire adult life. Because when did you turn 18?
July. I had 2 months.
You had 2 months of freedom, baby.
Dear leader Chris Spangle turned 18 years old on September 10th, 2001.
Ooh.
He had to go to the post office to register for selective service.
That was a bad day.
It was a terrifying day to have to
Yeah.
sign up for the draft.
But we're going to put a War on Terror. I did bring up the fact that they have like the Gulf War, Desert Storm, stuff like that included in the War on Terror. When, as far as I know, the War on Terror is just from 2001 in Afghanistan, Iraq.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the Gulf War was Persian Gulf War, right? That
Yeah.
was what that counts.
Well,
as.
I think they're going to want to lump all those guys together and just call it the War on Terror.
right.
Monument.
The Persian Gulf already has a monument though in there,
Just tell you. Well, and it's like Bosnia and
right?
Somalia, places like
There's
that.
opportunities for a lot of monuments. Unfortunately, a lot of conflicts, a lot of places we've been, and
So where to end this segment of the show,
Mhm.
what do you guys think about the name change? Do you think it's
it's bad timing.
you good, bad,
It's
indifferent?
terrible timing.
So Jeremiah's saying don't change the name.
No.
Yeah, it's always been known as Henry County Memorial Park. I don't know why we need to change it. And this is coming from a veteran.
Listen,
I don't-
unless it's going to be Henry County Memorial Park sponsored by Verizon and it's going to pay for the park, we leave it alone.
Yeah, it's already been,
Yeah.
and it's on the registry. So, what's the process of changing the name and then changing the name for the
Yeah.
registry?
To me, I don't understand why it needs to be changed and specified Henry County Veterans Memorial Park.
It's so much more than.
Isn't
just
that kind of
so much more than a?
what about the people that aren't from Henry County that come visit it?
Yeah, well, exactly.
It's only for the Henry County veterans. What about the veterans from Rush County? What about the guys from Carthage or Anderson or Pendleton that come here?
Well, what about the fact that not everybody that visits the park's a veteran and they use it? Why does it have to be a veterans park?
Yeah.
It's a memorial park.
All right. Looks like we're all in agreement.
There we go.
Holy moly!
Don't change the name.
All right,
Make some T-shirts.
Guffey,
What's up, buddy?
you've got you've got an exciting schedule coming up in your city council run in life. It's coming down to it.
Yeah.
Are we like 100 days left? How many days? You got a calendar set?
No. Only calendar I've got is for the hockey season starts, and the opening weekend's October 25th and 26th.
97 days.
So
You're 97 days away from the election.
Yep.
Down to double digits.
whoop whoop.
Man,
Yeah, baby.
this time in March, Dakota will be a dad and Guffey will be a city councilman.
It's true.
It's amazing.
Truer words have never been spoken.
Do you know if it's twins yet?
Yes, we do know. It's not twins.
Oh,
Only one heartbeat.
hold on. There could be some stuff going on we don't know about.
I heard.
Maybe they beat.
I heard
at
the heartbeat.
same.
I was.
They are that in sync.
I was so excited to hear the little heartbeat. That was so cool. That really was.
I took a secret recording on my phone, sent it to you guys.
Oh man.
I was sitting in the room and she's like, "All right, we're gonna listen to the heartbeat now," and I was like, "No, don't start yet. Don't start.
No, wait.
And live stream.
I just turned my brightness on my phone all the way down and like held it out here. And because the doctor's back was turned to me, so she didn't really see.
Are you not allowed to record?
I have one more.
I don't know. I didn't want to ask.
I have one more personal story real quick talking about doctors that I'll share real quick, and then we're going to get into Guffey's thing.
Okay.
Went through an ownership change at my day job back in November. So now we have to go see a doctor once a year, or else it's going to be like $1,100 or $1,200 out of pocket extra if you don't go get an annual physical, a free annual physical.
Wow.
So
such an inconvenience. I have to check on and see how healthy I am.
I have to see how I'm doing. It's none of their damn business, Dakota. So I'm like, okay, well, we got to go by October. Mm-hmm. So Sarah has to go. My lovely bride and I have to both go. And Sarah offers to make an appointment for herself and go do mine as well. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, fine. I'll let her. She'll make the call. She'll get it set up. She take care of everything. When the girl talked to Sarah on the phone, she set her up and she's like, okay, yeah, we'll get you set up here. No problem at all. We got you. Okay. It's on a Friday. We can see at 2:30. Do you want this to be your like lady appointment too? Yeah, sure. That's fine. Yeah, we can do that too. Knock it out. Okay. Hey, my husband needs an appointment too. Okay. Yeah, we'll just have him go next. So I'm pretty sure I have an appointment with the gynecologist is what's happened is that I'm going to find out how my ovaries are doing. I really should have made my own damn appointment.
You're going to get a prostate exam.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not 40 yet, so I don't need the complete physical.
That's wonderful.
But
have you guys ever?
And with the ovarian cancer history of my family, I think they might really check. I don't know.
Have you guys ever watched the YouTube channel Try Guys?
No.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a group of 4 guys and they try things. And they went to it was November, so Men's Health Awareness Month, and they decided that they were going to go and get cancer screening. And so they were going to get a prostate exam and their testes exam. And,
I've had that one done.
And yeah, and
that's not terrible, but
the doctor was explaining, he's like, men from the age of 15 to the age of 40 need to get their testes examined, and then men age 50 and older need to get their prostate examined. And one of the guys said, so really, the golden years are 40 to 50.
When you're 40 and over, you're supposed to have your prostate checked. That's kind of the deal. 40 and over is kind of, well, 40 is, a lot of people say 40. Either way.
I don't think it would hurt.
Well, I mean,
depending on the size of the fingers.
So you got that. And then, younger guys are typically the ones that are at risk of testicular cancer. So Yeah. I've got that that appointment coming up in late.
They do that.
In late August.
They do the same thing where I work.
So, but I've never had a doctor that's not been a
us.
dude before.
Oh, really?
Never.
Oh man,
I've always had a gentleman.
We always ours is a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
So they come to us. They schedule.
Do you look at them and go, "You're not a real doctor"?
At our office? No, I've never said that.
You say nurse. You belittle them, be like nurse.
And just answer their questions. That's about
yes,
it.
yeah.
Do you smoke?
No.
Not right now.
Yeah. Currently.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The first time that I was at a doctor and they asked if I smoked, and I was like, "You mean like, have I ever had a cigarette?" Yes. And he goes, Are you a pack a day smoker? He was very irritated with the question.
Left brain guy. You're Mr. Literus. Well, I mean, I had one 7 weeks ago when I was drunk in a bar, but no, I haven't bought a pack. I'm cheap. I just bum them from drunks. It's a social thing. That's like back in the day when I think I went to the optometrist and it was like, "Do you drink?" And I'm like, "Is it like off, every day, seldom, whatever?" And I'm like, "Is there a box for binge?" Because I'm like, I don't drink, but then there are nights when I really drink. I'm wondering, is there
Yeah. Actually, they made it super easy whenever I had my toe surgery, and they said they gave you a range of amount of alcoholic beverages you have in a typical week. And I was like, this is convenient instead of always, sometimes, never. I never know how
what
to
kind of
answer
range?
those.
What bucket were you in? Were you in the severity of how much alcohol you consume? Were
I
they
was
worried
1 to
about
5 drinks a week.
Were they worried about your organs?
No, it was 1 to 5 drinks a week.
Moderate. You're fine.
I'm
You're like
good.
the glass of
I'm
wine
at the
at
healthy
dinner.
level.
Yeah.
They say that men at a healthy level can drink up to 3 beers a day.
Oh, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I drink 0.
Well, aren't you an overachiever?
And 2 glasses of wine for women.
I'm in the binge. I'm in the binge phase with Jeremiah.
Well, that was younger. Now it's more of a just a couple here and there.
Yeah.
Saturday night I might tie one on, or I might not
Right.
do anything at all.
My drinking life has ended with current changes. I've signed the on-call list at work, and I'm drinking O'Doul's.
That's all you can drink.
Oh,
That's it. Boy, it's a sad,
Some
sad
of
life.
Paul Morrell's O'Doul's he left at the studio.
All right. So, Guffy, you've got a big week coming up. You're going to be
rest of the
visiting all of the departments, or most of the departments in the city. You're signing up to be on the board of directors for a $26 million a year corporation called the City of Newcastle, Indiana.
yep.
So you're going to go take a ride along with the police department.
Yep. Got that scheduled tomorrow, 3 to 11.
You're going to visit the water department.
Yep. That is Friday at 9 o'clock.
You're going to
Street department.
visit the street department, the people that pick up the trash and the people that fix the potholes.
Yep. That is tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Do you need an orange vest for any of this? Are you ready? Do you have a hard hat? Do you have the equipment, the PPE to go do the work?
I've got it all.
You're good. You're ready to go.
Yeah. I figured they could.
Are you gonna be like an executive guy, or are you gonna get your hands dirty and go out there with the guys?
Oh, absolutely. I'll work with them right beside them. I don't care. That's how it should be. You shouldn't ask people to do stuff that you wouldn't do yourself. That's what a true leader does.
And then you're looking at other stuff. You're gonna try to hook up with the fire department at some point.
Yeah, I want to hook up with the fire department. I want to hook up with the EMTs.
So all the emergency first responder types.
Yep. I want to try to get with the building commissioner and Kenny Melton. Want to try to get to the water treatment plant, see how that operates.
That's a $5 million a year operation, I think. Isn't that what we said on the budget?
Something like that. And then the park, I want to get with Mr. Bergram. I believe is how you pronounce his last name.
A lot of departments, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, possibly 10. And then technically, if you consider the mayor's office its own thing, that's
You gonna
11.
sit down and have lunch with the mayor at some point?
I don't know. I've never asked him. I bet he would.
Pick his brain,
Pick his brain.
learn about how the theater's gonna operate.
Yeah. How?
Do you think every city councilman? How many city councilmen are there? City council peoples.
7.
So there's 7.
Yep.
There's 7 days of the week.
Yeah, there's 7 currently.
Everybody
Yeah.
could just have a day in the booth selling tickets and operating the theater, and we could run it for free.
Sure, but most of us have real jobs.
Well, yeah, but you don't work 7 days a week. I mean, you could you only work 5 days a week. So
Yeah,
you,
but-
you could, like Lynn Purdue could do Tuesdays, and
Well, Lynn has his
And
own
you could
business.
have-
He could
you
do
could
he
have-
could do whatever he wants.
you could work Saturday
I could do a Saturday or a Sunday.
Yeah. And Councilman Peckinpah could do Thursdays in there. And
Yeah. I
I
guess.
mean, Councilman Dickin could give up his Fridays and unoperated, I suppose.
I bet he would.
Yeah.
I bet he would.
I mean, I think we just found the way. Maybe you guys, there's 7 days of the week and seven city
But
council.
who runs the
people.
concession?
I mean, one person. But back in the day when I was visiting, there was only like six customers. The same person sold the concessions that worked the counter, and you've already got experience.
Yeah, I could do it. I could absolutely do that.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
While you stepped out, we solved the Castle Theater problem, Dakota.
I gathered.
Yeah,
Context
amazing.
clues.
it's all done.
Yeah.
It's all set.
So I'm really excited. I got to talk to the officer that I am riding with.
Do you get to wear a bulletproof vest?
I don't believe they're going to offer me one.
No,
I've-
because don't the police have to provide their own?
I think so, actually.
If stuff gets real, what are you going to do?
Well,
Because
Stay
yesterday there was an
in
armed robbery
robbery,
at
yeah.
the AT&T store.
we
on
went over
Tuesday.
it.
Who robs an AT&T store?
3 out-of-towners allegedly.
Somebody that wants the new iPhone.
Who the hell robbed? There's no cash in an AT&T.
I bet
store.
there is.
How much cash could there possibly be?
I mean, people's got to come in and pay their cell phone bill. People buying new phones.
Who comes in with cash to pay their damn cell phone bill? Like at a storefront.
Old timers.
That's crazy to me.
Well, yeah.
That is such a foreign concept. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, well, you're a millennial. What can you expect?
I don't even need a cell phone store to have a storefront. I just want the network. I just want my bars. I don't care.
But-
I haven't been in the Cricket Brisket wireless store in 2 years.
So, but anyways, back to the ride along here. We were talking, and he's like, "Just wear something business casual," and I was like, "Okay, no problem." He's like, "Just so you know, I wear long pants, I wear boots, I wear a long sleeve shirt, and not only that, but I wear my bulletproof vest so the AC is on high the entire 8 hours." He said, "So if you get cold, bring something else."
That's a you problem. Bring a sweater.
I was like,
I thought he was going to tell you
I was like, I'm fine, man.
the air conditioning doesn't work because the city's broke and we're buying a theater and I can't. My air conditioning doesn't work in my car. I thought that was where the story was
Aaron
going to go.
Dickens said that on his ride along with the police, they brought in 2 guys.
Oh yeah, that was the thing I was going to tell you.
So did Dickin have to ride in the back?
I don't know. I mentioned it to Dickin. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go on a ride along. He goes, "Just so you know, when I went on my ride along, brought in 2 guys for potential manslaughter." What the heck, Dickin?
How many criminals does he have in this town?
How many people do you want me to arrest, Dickin? I tell you what, if I see one person with an ounce of marijuana, you're going in, buddy. That's what we're doing.
An ounce that's a lot. It's a lot of freedom.
A
A lot of
freedom.
medicine.
And you know what? If you ain't wearing your seatbelt, you're going in. I need to put more people into that jail.
If you're not wearing your seatbelt, it's $25.
Nope.
Wow.
$25 ticket.
Not anymore.
Not even on the city council yet, and you're already perpetuating a system of oppression.
Always.
Yeah.
No, did you guys see that video? I don't know if about the old lady with the broken taillight.
Oh yeah.
So she gets
Yeah.
pulled over.
I mean, you have in your skill set is taillight fixing abilities.
It is. I replaced doors. But no, this lady, she got pulled over.
This isn't the lady that got arrested for feeding cats.
No.
It's another old
definitely
lady.
No.
Old ladies have had a shitty week.
I just want you to know, if they ever arrest people for feeding stray cats, I'm doing time. I'm doing time, boys. So, but no, this old lady she gets pulled over, and the cop's real nice about it. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to write you an $80 ticket because your taillight's been busted out for 6 months, and you've been driving around with it." And she's just arguing. She's like, "No, blah, blah, blah." Next thing you know, she rolls up her window, drives off. Cop gets in his
Nice.
car.
You go, lady.
Bye.
The cop gets in his car, follows after her, gets her out of the car, and she's being combative. Like, she is.
How old are we talking? Are we talking like 60 years old or like
Probably.
Betty White, 97 years old?
Probably 50 to 60-ish. And she's being,
That's not even old.
well, she's being, she's resisting. And he pulls out his taser. Poof.
Tase's grandma.
Grandma goes down.
Oh God, that poor lady.
Oh, man. It was crazy.
Hey, there's every time you pass an ordinance or pass a law Eventually, you make
with-
a guy with a badge enforce your dumb idea.
Yep.
And it leads to violence. That's what happens. So every time you decide that
I
you
know.
can't have smoking in public, at the end of the line is some poor cop that has to deal with your bad idea.
Exactly. Well, and not only that, but what if that 20-mile-an-hour thing would have passed? Now you've made all those people that were following the laws
Luckily,
criminals.
you were a hero
I try.
and spoke up.
Small
for people.
things. Small people.
If people want to donate to your hero task, how do they do that?
They can go.
This is the beginning of your final thoughts, by the way.
Oh, it is?
This is it.
Okay. You can go to my Facebook page, Chris Guffey for City Council, I believe. Chris Guffey for City Council, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
It's right on there. Find the donate button. Mash it.
You can mash that donate button. You can help me out. We got some things we're going to buy. We got some more T-shirts we're going to get ordered. We got some palm cards we're going to get ordered. Possibly billboards if we can get the sign.
Man, oh man.
I mean, we're taking it serious here, folks.
It's big time.
We are taking it serious, and we need your help.
You're in
In it to win
negotiations
it.
to have some big
yeah.
events potentially.
Big events.
Maybe
we're gonna,
some big people we don't know yet.
yeah. We got some lines on some heavy hitters possibly coming in downtown.
Possibly someone who spent time in Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
possibly.
I heard that rumor.
Or did you hear about the governor rumor? There is one.
Dun dun dun.
What, you getting endorsed by, is Eric Holcomb going to endorse you?
Maybe
There is a potential of a governor.
maybe
We don't know.
Henry Holcomb's going to endorse you.
Henry would because
I mean, there's no Republican in your race.
Because
Why
he's-
wouldn't Henry Holcomb endorse you?
Henry, he's the goodest boy.
He is. So
he
lovely.
is. He's the goodest boy.
He's such a good boy.
But so yeah, if you just go to Chris Guffey for City Council, smash that donate button, help me out, and then also we're going to be scheduling some events for walking, so we can hit them houses and let people know what's going on. That'll be great if you can volunteer and come out, and we can have fun. We can get you some food. We can do stuff.
Oh, you're going to bribe them with food.
I'm not bribing. I'm just saying there could be food there. We could cook out. We could. Then we're gonna have.
You're so passive when you ask for help.
Yeah, I am.
I got to work on you. Hey,
Jared, hold on.
Hey, what are you doing Saturday morning?
Yeah, no, I'm busy. We're gonna have the cruise-ins are going on. I think the last cruise-in, October 5th, is gonna be a big event for us. We're gonna walk downtown at the cruise-in. We're gonna be walking the neighborhoods that week as well.
It's a
And then
big activation.
big week for us. And if I can get a head count on numbers on that October 5th, I will gladly make Jeremiah cook us food.
Sounds good to me.
How do you like? Do you like your chicken medium? Just a little pink in the center.
Yep, perfect.
All right, awesome. All right, Father's Day 2020. What are you doing there, buddy?
I don't know. Hopefully I get taken out to eat or something.
What's going on? Final thoughts. You're trying to. You should probably warn the guests that you've taken on a weird responsibility and you may disappear.
That's true.
If we do anything in a storm, it may get really awkward around here.
Not even that. It seems like the days that you expect to get called out to work, you don't get called, but on the days where you least expect it is when it happens. But that yeah, I guess that is some news. I have signed up for the volunteer list to take calls. So
If you're panicking in this fatherhood thing and you need more money, is what you're saying. This is a freak out.
not really
You've
panicking.
I'm
just saying I could.
You're already worried about paying for preschool and college.
Yeah.
Private school's not cheap.
As soon as
Try's
that
not good
baby's-
enough for your
As
kids.
soon as that baby's born, you got to open the 529.
That's right.
So, I mean, got to get that extra money. Got to get that cash money.
Yeah.
Trying to pay off my truck. So, it's only going to take like 6 months worth of 80-hour weeks.
80-hour weeks. Good God. Good God.
Jesus.
I mean, not as much as Chase. So, he's still alive.
Chase
I can do
Chase
it.
claims to be coming back next week, potentially.
Yep.
That's
For
the story.
For the live show at the
Maybe.
Morrell and Free
Maybe
Fair?
next week or the following week. We don't know.
Next week, we are going to be at the Morrell and Free Fair, set up at the Libertarian Party of Henry County booth. So make sure you come out and see us. We'll have postcards that are signed, and you can snag one of those and snag a picture as well. It's not going to be broadcast live to Facebook like we did from the 4-H fair because
Because we don't want to disrupt all of the other vendors.
It's a big setup, and there's just not enough room there to do it.
Unless they ask us during the week and say, hey, would you do this? And then we'll let Dakota suffer through trying to figure that one out.
Yep.
But we're not really pushing for that.
Well, I remember last year there's like no cell signal out there.
They have Wi-Fi.
Oh,
NLBC,
really?
yeah, they got the Wi-Fi.
Oh, then we could make it happen if we wanted
They do have broadband.
If we went there early in the week and we just told the vendors, hey, on Thursday you're not going to have any room for your booth, so might as well not show up.
On Thursday it's going to be the Dakota Davis show.
On Thursday I'm going to need to borrow your table, people across the row from us.
Back in the day, Rupert came, and it kind of was like that. We had Rupert come one night to the Morrell Fair, and he backed up 3 rows deep. It was impressive.
We'll be out there. Come and see us. And then also the week after that, we are starting back with guests again. Clay Morgan, Councilman Clay, has promised that he will be coming on August the 15th.
We have a big city, Newcastle Henry County Council budget update. They're in the budget process now.
That's
so
what
we're going to hear. We're going to hear how that's going.
We're going to hear how broke we are, and then
I heard they found all kinds of money today, and they could buy a theater. Maybe they're the high bidder.
That's what it is. And I'm also working with the guys from the Thunderwolf podcast, which is Jacob Server and then Shane. Remember, we sat with Shane at the Juice in the Morning. He's on the Thunderwolf podcast.
Is Shane the guy that lost a thumb in the accident?
Huh?
Was that Shane or Johnny?
I think that was Johnny.
It was a smashed thumb. It was disgusting. Shane's the one with all 10 digits intact.
Shane's the one that has the obscure name on Facebook. That
Oriah.
Yeah. So I've been in contact with them. We're going to be doing swap casts, and
we're going to have a good time with the Thunderwolf guys, and we're talking about maybe doing some sort of a game night over here, a podcaster, all podcaster area game night. Maybe we live stream that and have some fun.
That would be fun.
So just
that
terrible,
would only be for the
things.
Patreon folks.
Maybe.
So, just to let you guys know, I know somebody with some board games.
Oh no, we don't. We don't want any more help from that guy.
Oh, okay.
He's already a partner enough.
Unless he upholds his end of our fake bargain.
All right, this has been fun. This was episode 123.
123.
This is the most Henry County episode in the history of the world. What exit are we off I-70?
123.
123.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh, hey, real quick, can I add another final thought?
I guess you can have mine. I cede my final thought to you, Councilman.
Oh, thank you. Dang it, I just forgot what it was though. But no, no. Oh yeah, I did forget. Go ahead.
That's the end of the show. We will not have a live broadcast at the Morrell Fair. Once again, we'll repeat that. Don't be looking on Thursday night for a live broadcast. Check the Facebook for the link. What?
Sorry.
Burden the people. Go ahead.
I'm burdening them. I would just like to give a shout out to Brad Brewer down there at Perfect Circle Credit Union. The man sincerely helped me out.
When you signed up today, did you give my name to get me an extra $5 in my account? Did they ask you who referred you? Did that come up?
It was, but I didn't write your name because I didn't feel like signing that.
What? You just let it go?
I'll Venmo you $5.
You didn't
that
get.
word.
Yeah, I mean, it was free money. Who referred you? And you're like, no, nobody. Nobody did. I don't know anybody.
I didn't know that was a deal.
Yeah, they were like, hey, did you get referred by anybody? Yeah, this person. Okay, yeah.
That question was never.
They'll
It was
be
on
like,
the paperwork, but I was.
Here's $25 for that person.
I thought of your name though. I was like, who referred you? I was like, oh,
Jesus,
Brad.
Murphy.
God,
but
I want to punch him right in the nose.
Shout out to Brad Brewer, my man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Brad's
man.
a good dude. I'm not so sure about you right now, but Brad's great. All right, no live show next week. We're just check your iTunes, subscribe, and do us all a favor and share. If you share this thing, that's how we grow.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians Network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at WeAreLibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. news, and we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to wearelibertarians.com, and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com.